Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Welcome to Smoke Wagon with your hosts, 10 Killer Cole and Ox Ford.
Well, howdy. Welcome to Smoke Wagon. I'm 10 Killer Cole, and that right over there is my buddy Ox Ford. Ox, how you doing?
Why, Cole, I am rolling.
I knew you were going to say that. This is the inaugural podcast for our show, Smoke Wagon, and I don't know, something that we've been interested in doing for a while because I haven't seen anything like it on iTunes or any pod. I've never really found any good Western podcasts. I've actually looked for them. I don't know if you have before, Ox.
Yeah, I have, especially actually after Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
After watching Westworld,
I did the same thing. I was looking for a podcast that talked about Westworld because I was so into that show. Which, by the way, I still think is probably the best, like, episodic drama television show I've ever seen in my life. I think.
Yeah, I might disagree with that. I like the first two seasons rather of Justified.
Yeah. I mean, how many seasons of Justified are there? I liked all of them. I didn't
6.
really. Okay, I wasn't in love with the show, but definitely I liked it a lot. My wife and I both did.
Yeah, no, but I gotta say, Westworld was amazing. It was amazing, and it's funny because I think a lot of the filler part was the flashback. Mm-hmm. The flashback from the
flashback that you didn't even realize was a flashback for the entire season.
Mm-hmm. But I did, though. I got it. I understood that it was.
You wait. You knew that dude William was the Man in Black the entire time. Oh, I'm sorry, by the way. This is a spoiler alert.
No, I didn't realize that. Not at first, but I knew it was a flashback. And then that's how I put it together that, oh, well, if it's a flashback, duh. Yeah, I never felt that was part of the rest of the show. It just didn't fit. It didn't have the same feel. Like, I felt some of the other characters, like some of the ancillary characters were, it just, I don't know, it just had a different feel to it.
I should be clear real quick.
At the same time.
I should be clear that for anybody listening that this podcast isn't about Westworld. This is actually a podcast that was spawned by both of our mutual affection for the show Westworld. We just got in a long conversation about it one night, and then I think it was me. I just kind of I floated the idea to you that somebody should do a podcast that is about just Western films and culture and shows and lore and everything Wild West, because that's something that I'm originally from Oklahoma. I live in Kansas now, but it's something that I've been like sort of subjected to my whole life, and I love Western movies too. So
I asked you actually about it because I for another podcast I was supposed to do, I asked you if you would want to do an episode on Westworld, like just one, like get you on the show and get you to do one episode, dedicated to Westworld.
I remember that.
Then that's where I think you proposed that we just do.
Yes, I proposed to you. He accepted. He accepted my proposal. So
of course.
I mean, congratulations to us. So.
Do you know what size ring that I wear?
I imagine it's probably pretty huge. So.
It's not. That's the thing. I have a very
tiny little slender woman fingers.
I do. I have Trump hands. I have effeminate, like tiny baby hands.
Is it like is it like internet known that Trump has small woman hands?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had never heard that before.
Tiny hands is the thing. Yeah. Like I didn't know. This is going to turn into a political thing too. Just to be clear, this podcast will be about Western culture and all things, lore, just stories.
But what he's saying is we're going to get off on tangents.
We'll get into it. Yeah, but we're gonna, and I don't want to make anything political, but I didn't know that sad was a thing. That apparently he says sad. He
says
Trump.
The word sad a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either. I don't. But I don't make it a habit of looking up political videos too often. Although I was on Facebook the other day. My Uncle Mike posted a bad lip reading of the inauguration. I don't know if you saw that, but it was hilarious. So funny. It was so funny. I was laughing. I had tears in my eyes. I woke up my wife. I was like, Megan, you have to watch this. But yeah, very funny stuff.
Yeah, it was really funny. But going back to what we were saying, so then you proposed to me the idea of, hey, let's just do a whole podcast for Western culture, So Cole lives in Kansas and I live in Pennsylvania.
Word.
And when you think Pennsylvania, it's going to be like, well, what the hell do you have to do with Western culture? Well, there's a lot actually.
Well, yeah, it's like where
you could.
It's where like America was founded up there, right? That's where.
But I'm talking specifically Western culture. I mean Stetson hats.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
They came out of like New Jersey and PA.
I want a Stetson hat. I want that Waylon Jennings Stetson hat. Man, I like that one.
We will also be Googling a lot, or Bing. I'm actually
you're a Bing guy.
A lot, but I'm a Bing guy.
You're a Nazi.
I'll Google. I'm going to Google right now.
Okay.
Google Stetson. I'm pretty sure it is a Philadelphia company. Because being from Philly, right now I don't live in Philadelphia, but being from Philly, you tend to know who's coming out of Philly, or what was made there. Like Ben Franklin started the first firehouse here.
I thought you were going to say the first fire. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
they probably had that one figured out a long time before Ben came around. Can you imagine the guy who? Can you imagine the guy who started the first fire? Just like he's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, he had to be freaking out.
He's like, I've opened a portal to hell.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm a little. Right now, I have a little bit of tunnel vision because I'm trying to figure out what. And it says, I'll just skip to this part. Stetson eventually became the world's largest hat maker, producing more than 3,300,000 hats a year in a factory spread over 9 acres in Philadelphia. So yeah, it does have ties to Philadelphia at some point. I don't know if it started there or it moved there, but it did have something to do with Philly. And I don't feel like spending.
I'm just going to take your word for it, Jack. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sorry.
He's already breaking down the fourth wall.
I've already broken it down. I got to call him by the nickname, man.
Spoiler alert: Ox is not my real name. It's the name I will be using on the show.
And Cole,
I'll explain why.
And Cole is actually my middle name, but
I will explain why I'm going to use the name Ox Ford for the show. Actually, Oxen Ford is my grandfather's name, last name, and my mother's maiden name. And my grandfather just passed away. He was a Teamster. He was a lifelong truck driver, Republican, NRA member. Very, very country, even though he grew up in Philadelphia. Well, I don't know how to.
When we started the idea for this show, we thought it'd be cool. I mean, to come up with some sort of outlaw type nicknames for the show. So that's where I'm originally from Oklahoma. I'm from Adair County, Oklahoma, and I grew up right around a big lake that we always hung out at every summer, and it was called Lake Tin Killer. So that's how I sort of came out, and my middle name is Cole. So I came up with the nickname Tin Killer Cole. That's my outlaw name. And that was the birth of Tin Killer Cole and Oxford for the show Smoke Wagon.
Yeah, so that's why I took the name Oxford. Also, actually, right before that, I was watching old wrestling clips, and there was an old wrestler named Ox Baker, and he had a bald head, and he would have these sayings on T-shirts, like I'm the most hated, or so, something like that. All these crazy, sayings on his T-shirts, and he was just a mean-looking son of a bitch. And then I also just had watched the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Great movie. And
I kind of sympathized with Robert Ford, so I took the name Ford, and I took Ox Ford, and also paying homage to my grandfather, who was Oxenford. So there you go. That's my name, sticking to it. And that's my fucking outlaw name.
It works for me, Ox. 10 Killer Cole and Ox Ford. Now, anyway, I like I said, I'm from Oklahoma. This is kind of where my whole story started, and also, the way we really got into talking about the Western culture and how much we loved Western movies and stuff like that, like I said before, was how we started talking about Westworld, and Jack asked me a question. And I thought it was a real interesting... I mean, for anybody who's watched Westworld, it's probably a question they've asked themselves 100 times, and that is, if we could go to Westworld, what would you do there? Like, would you be an outlaw? Would you go on, like, the hunting missions, like, looking up in the mountains for other, joining up with a posse and hunting somebody down? Or would you just sit in a bar and drink? Or would you sleep with whores? Or, there's a million different things you could do, hypothetically speaking, of course. But, what would you do? So I told Ox when he asked me, I said, well, first off, I'd probably never leave, because... like that sort of lifestyle and that that culture, I'm so fascinated with it, even though a lot of it, the dramatized versions of Western movies and Western TV shows, they probably make it a whole lot more romantic than it actually was. I mean, obviously it was a real son of a bitch to be alive back then, because people just shoot you in the street and then get punished by having their guns taken away.
And then you get cholera. Yeah. You go swimming in a lake, and then you get some fucking other crazy diseases. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
there was no air conditioning.
Like every single woman had the clap. So.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we have that in Philly too. But like
the clap.
Yeah. every woman.
Another thing that was made in Philadelphia. So.
The clap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no air conditioner or Wi-Fi, no internet, shit like that. That would, if I had a time machine to go back, so I don't like being hot. I like to be cooled off, and there really wasn't ice, so I'd have a problem.
Well, you were in the West in the early 1800s, mid 1800s. You were either freezing your nuts off or you were hot as shit. So I mean, there was no in between. I don't think, unless it was fall, early spring. Yeah,
and I don't unless you kept moving too, because we know now how the climates are north and south, so we know we can we could go up and down. Yeah, starts to get.
Do you think they did that? You think they migrated?
Hot, go a little north.
Do you think they migrated like
they
ducks?
Could have. Birds. They some people fly south. Yeah. Some birds fly south for the winter.
You know what I liked about those times back then is when everybody was expanding west, they would just like find a field and be like, "Here's where my house is going to be." Like here's where this is my land now.
Yeah, never mind the people that were already there. What's crazy too is like I'll watch stuff today. I watched something last night before I went to sleep on Netflix. No, it was Amazon Prime, and I was in the Western section, and it was like, oh no, like Western TV, and I scrolled all the way to the end, and it was called like the Axe Family, and it was just these guys, this family that live on like all this acreage, and I'm looking and I'm like, how the fuck did they get all that shit? Did they just buy that now, or was it left to them and their family?
Yeah,
because that's fucked up.
That's
fucked up.
Have you seen the previews for that TV show? Oh wait, you're the one who told me about it. The what is it called? The Outsiders or something? Or where it's got
yeah.
where they
Opie
just
from Sons of
yeah,
Anarchy.
it's got Opie from Sons of Anarchy. They just live up in the mountains, and they're like, "This is our mountain."
Yeah, it's like they're in West Virginia or Kentucky. I'm not sure.
Have you ever driven through